IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Heavily medicated, not because of marriage but otherwise. Terrible cold last 4 days, don't worry, no COVID. And heavily medicated, the strongest medication you can get. They say it's for buffalo and that a buffalo will actually be in a coma after taking it. But I said no. I'll take it and survive because the people don't want to hear this podcast. And out of goodness to them, I will do this podcast even heavily medicated. So this show comes to you heavily medicated, but my rant is different. My rant is actually a beautiful story about a young lady in Zhejiang province, which is where the Uyghur community basically is, in southern China. She died at the age of 135 day before yesterday. God rest that very long soul of hers. Now keep in mind, the village she comes from is known as long lasting village or long age village or some such translation from my Mandarin is suspect. But it's amazing that lots of people out there have crossed 100 and this lady broke all records living till 135 and then of course it ended just now. So that was a fabulous piece of information. I'm not saying it's ironic, but the country which has sort of been responsible for the spread of the virus and deaths across the world is also the country where people live the longest. Okay, that being said,
have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
let's move on to our show. We've got a great surprise coming up after the break, but first we have a not such good news. Amit rejoins us and Silverie rejoins us. Neither of them are under medication, so the energy levels will now be equal. We'll all be the same. We'll be like the three amigos in their 60s doing the movie.
What's the reason for medication?
Bro, if you see the phlegm in my nose, if you look carefully, I don't know where the camera is, so I can't show it to you.
No, let's not.
It's a lot.
Let's not.
It was like dumbbells worth of phlegm. I could work out with them.
When it's in the nose, does it continue to remain phlegm or does it become snot?
Okay, I think it's not.
Yeah, it's just like the butterfly, how it goes from larvae to pupil to whatever. It's like there's a process involved. If you have the time and you can spare a minute, we can go through everything practically because it's just a matter of time where everything will come out.
That's interesting. Is it the first time you've been sick in 2 years?
No, I'm not sick. I mean, I lifted weights, I've done my work, I've done everything, but the damn cold, it irritates you and your head starts getting a little, weak and not even weak.
You're
It's just that
sick only,
befuddled
no?
feeling.
Sick
Cold
only,
can't be
no?
sick. Sick is when you're sick, when you're really sick.
Yeah, but a cold is... So, I mean, I was just thinking about this, honestly, just this morning, right? That because I coughed a little bit and I was just like, you know what? It's been like 19 months since I coughed. Or since I had a significant coughing kind of thing.
And you're disappointed. That's good to know. Well, people are dying of coughs across the world. It's good to know that you're so severely disappointed by the news.
No, I'm really happy about that. I'm just thinking, has there been another period in my life where I did not develop a cough for this long a time? And I don't think that there has.
I don't want to brag, but in my 20s, I was never sick, not one day. A whole decade.
Really?
Not one day. MTV, if you're listening, I lied when I didn't turn up. I just was hungry. Okay? There's no other reason. I was completely okay. By 12, I was regretting not going for the shoot. It was like that. But I wasn't, not once. But you win some, you lose some.
Cyrus, did you have an easier time getting up in the morning during your MTV days? Or were you...
So I was not a morning guy on TV days, because my dad used to walk we had a German Shepherd then, and he would be the 6 o'clock morning guy, and that was fine. So I didn't have to do that morning duty ever, except when they went to Mahabaleshwar once a year. Then I had to do it. And I had to drink and do it because I was drinking weak. Can you imagine how bad that was? You come home at 3:30, you walk your dog at 6, stinking. So when you have routine, either you go to the gym or you have a dog or whatever, or go for a walk or a jog, or basically, write, letters of contempt against members of other communities. You get up early morning to do that. You can't just, do it at any point in the day. You need that first thought process thingy. But going back to what he's saying, we were very much an evening channel in the sense that most of the stuff never started on time. And slowly you got with the program. It's like how you become a government servant. You come with a lot of zeal and zest, and then after 2 years, you're converted into effort. We'll just manage. This is the system. So there was no morning.
No, but would you say the dog is what turned you into a morning person? Or would you say that...
No. My dad was still walking the dogs early morning, 2000 and something. The problem is that my son had to be dropped to school. And the wife said that enough is enough. You've done nothing for his first 3 years, except giving him a bath, which of course ended very badly for him. You know that story. I've told you before. My only thing was giving the child a bath. That was where I came in, because we would have a
Right.
shower where I told him how to spit on himself and on me and pee in the shower and all the wrong things. And so it was a fun bath, lots of noise and stuff. And when my mother-in-law lost her husband, that is my father-in-law in the US, and Aisha went all the way back to bring her rather. And in the car ride back, one didn't know what to say because it was such an uncomfortable moment, and she had gone through hell and all that, and had to travel back. And so she was in the back with Aisha, and Mikhail was in front, maybe about 3 or 4 years old, not more than that. And after some time, the silence and all, he said, "Don't worry, Nani. If you're feeling bad, Dada will give you a bath." And that always makes me happy. I I can't. I was like, when you read that stuff in prose where they say the earth should swallow you up, you want the earth to. I mean, I have no idea. I could not look her in the eye for years. I was, and thing is, I don't even know if she smiled. There was stone silence, and then I think Aisha just told her, "No, look in front" or something like that. It was like, Sylvie, when we do a gag and nobody laughs. That, and you've done a good setup and a good punch, and with all that momentum, and boom, nothing happens. It's like that. This is nowhere to go after that. Ouch, it was horrible.
That's I'm wow. Okay, yeah, yeah. Not to get a laugh in that situation is probably brutal.
If she did laugh, it would have melted the ice on the
Yeah.
spot. But since it remained awkward, it was like the climax never came. It just stayed like that, and it's a long. These rides get really long when people are. She was very. If you're ever in this position, remember there really isn't any guidebook or handbook that will help you. How to deal with someone who's really grieving in a small car. And you're not in the same
Yeah.
level of grief. So, you have to be very careful what you say or do because you're going to sound insincere, but you're very close. So there's lots of things that you could lose here. So yeah, but of course, kids. This is when kids are truly innocent. I mean, he was really trying to cheer her up. His motive and heart was in the right place. But by God, what a thought! Oh my God. Yeah. So coming back to MTV days, so we would. Simply, I don't know how many sets you worked on in your young career yet, but so we would come to the set, and everybody had this disco jaisa philosophy, which I only realize now is because the money was not theirs. You see, when you work on an ad film and the guy's got his own budgets in production, every hour is accounted for. If you work on a
Yeah.
TV show, they'll really make you sweat. First they may be slow, but they'll make you sweat for every hour. But if you work on a pagar basis, we would just turn up because you don't care if the shift goes to the next shift or the shift goes to the next day. And that's what would happen. So it was very laid back.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is it everybody who you felt that with, or was it just the
There
was
were some
everybody
people
on
who were-
Pagar, or was it just the talent on Pagar?
No, we were all on pagar. There were freelancers later on as they
Oh.
became bigger and bigger. They could America MNCs give you a number 82. That's your employee list.
Okay.
And after that, it has to be freelance. So even though it makes no sense monetarily, because you're paying more money to these guys than you would if you had hired 10 more people instead of 20 more freelancers who get paid per
Right.
shift. But which I never understood. Honestly, I argued this point in an appraisal conference in Lonavala. I was like,
Where all did
because
you have appraisal conversations? One was in Lonavala, one was on a boat, one's in Goa.
no, boat we didn't have. Boat was just part of a party that was there. When the foreign bosses came down, they would splash out the. So they liked all. We think foreigners like all these things. They're going down the gateway of India in a stupid barge, but we get the barge to yourself. So it was fun. You play your own music, and those barge parties
Oh, yeah,
back
I've
in the
been for a few.
90s
Yes.
and all that.
have
The
been
only thing is
for
you
a
can't get off till they let you get off. No, so you're in for a
I
certain
know.
amount of time every time you go on.
Or yeah, so I remember I went for the first one I ever went for. I get seasick and I was like very uncomfortable about going for it only. But I was told that there will be like ferries going back and forth from so it was on a larger boat which you went with on a smaller boat.
Was it one of those parties that Naveen likes to go to? You mentioned.
Which Naveen are you talking about?
No, let it be. I'll get into trouble if I. Silverie, shall we let that go?
No,
Let
I'm
the
not helping you
audience.
there, man. Yeah.
Let's just. Naveen will come after me. He's quite militant when it comes to all this. Yeah. So where were we? Yeah. So that's it. Amit gets sick on barges. I didn't have that problem, but I did realize that if you're having a bad time, and that's happened once or twice, or not just bad time, you just want to get out. You're really trapped. The feeling of being trapped
Yeah.
because you want to move on with life and not drink anymore,
It
or whatever.
sucks.
And you have to wait
Somebody
for
has asked, was Mr. Wankhede at your boat party too?
but Mr. Wankhede would have been very nice to me. My father is not that famous. Yeah, I think he would do the maths. It only happens to famous people's kids. Pointless. Yeah. And in any case, my dad would only ask the judge for the receipt for bail, not for bail itself, because he's more interested in filing returns. So I would have to stay in for a month for sure. Yeah, right. So we didn't have the morning culture. Morning culture started dropping Mikhail to football, and which was like at 7 in the morning or 6:45, and then school also, that whatever that preschool nonsense, which is really early. Why they have to teach the preschoolers so early, I don't understand. They should make the 10 standard guys come early and get the day, seize the day, carpe diem. Instead, preschoolers are out at 6:37, and then they are done by 8:39, which means it's a real headache for parents to pick and drop. At these odd hours.
I'm surprised you didn't flip back though. Like most of my friends who woke up early to dropping their kids, they flip back to their.
And bear in mind, I used to sleep at 3 and 4 and all that.
Yeah.
Not like I was an early sleeper. No, what happens is when I gave up alcohol in 2015, December 24th, coming soon, the anniversary, that day onwards, I've been what do I do? What do I do with the night? I don't drink. I'm not having an affair and I don't drink.
You quit on December 24th.
Yeah, well, that was the last night I drank, 2015.
Okay, all right.
Because
that
the
makes
boys
a lot more
showed
sense.
me the ladies we were dancing with, and I hope they're not listening to the show. Let's just say they were elderly. And they were like, Brocha, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, these are all real ruffians. But the lack of respect they had for my lack of finesse was unbelievable. So then I packed it in. That, and I think my daughter put a lot of pressure.
I remember that being the reason.
She got a little upset, and my mother was a little upset, and I couldn't. Every time I would hear it, every Friday night I had to hear lectures, Saturday whole day, and you can't just leave your family, especially when you're the breadwinner. You should leave early. Here's my advice: leave before you earn money for your family, so that they never become parasites and bother you.
I remember you telling me about this like maybe 5 or 6 months after, right? I mean, like we started working in March, like very quickly after, right?
The next year, yeah.
So it's like within 3 months, right? Of your quitting drinking. We started in 15.
On 15. So I quit that year, later on in that year. 15 December, yeah, 16 it must have.
You had already quit. I
was down to once a month. I made it less and all that, but I had not quit. I still quit was 24th December. The memory is still fresh. Yeah. There were 2 old ladies and there was me and Kunal. Let's just put it this way, Kunal was closer in age to them than I was. So, it was just not right. Yeah.
No, but I remember you telling me it was Maya and your mom, basically the together, who made you quit.
Yeah.
That I do remember.
Because the wife was just too ballistic and vitriolic. So I don't respond to. She would just scream at me and shout at me and lock the door on me. I had to sleep up all the time, bro. I had to sleep in the hall. Sometimes I was so sloshed it didn't matter, but sometimes I wasn't sloshed enough. I was like, I need to drink more so I can fall asleep in the hall. This is a terrible feeling. You start getting treated so badly, you have no idea, in your own house, the house where you were raised. So I gave it up. And now they continue to treat me badly, so I don't know why I did when I think back. Honestly. I think is he frozen? No, he's not frozen, Silverie. He's busy contemplating something. Okay, all right.
He's right here. He's going through his mega story. He wants to make sure that he has all the facts correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Before
please do that. But before that, there's something very important on the show. We wasted 13 minutes already.
Yeah,
and that is the word of the day. It's Monday, and I know this is only temporary. This evening thing. We'll be back in the morning where it becomes like clockwork. The first word. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
It's an adjective, and the word is meretricious. Meretricious.
Sorry, say that again. MERE?
meretricious. Meretricious. Trickious. Trickious or trickious. Not trying to trickious you.
Meretricious. Is that right? Is that spelling right?
Yeah, it's an adjective. Spelling is right. And it's an adjective you can describe me. Both the things are adjectives.
Is it someone who likes to trick people? It's mereticious.
Oh, you got away once. You got away once with this.
I know. And that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the... Why would I change my strategy now?
Yeah, but 1 out of 10 you've done well, and then don't expect it to work every time.
So is it meretricious or meretricious?
Well, now you're being a bully. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Okay?
No, as in CIOUS or COUS?
CIOUS. He's written it correctly.
Okay.
Meretricious. Meretricious also possible. But if you say it fast like I do, you won't even remember what it is. Meretricious.
Yeah. Meretricious.
Something to do with mere, something mere, something. It's merely tricious.
It's an adjective you can use to describe me and lots of other people.
Okay.
At least me when I was a little younger. That'll sound vain.
So somebody who has a... could this be like sports championships?
No, you're going with merit. No.
Talkative. Is it someone who is really talkative and outgoing and extrovert?
There's a slight meaning of merit. What did you say?
Talkative, outgoing, extrovertish.
In the family of what the half of the meaning is, it's somewhere there. But
okay,
I can't give it to you, Silverie, because it looked like you're my NGO. every time I try to help you and just pass
But
things along.
it's not merit based. Huh? Merit is not the right route.
The word merit can be associated with the final actual meaning. So it's like a meaning in a meaning.
So could it be something along the lines of potential? Could that be part of it?
Is it a good quality? Is it something you should be?
It's quite the absence of. It's quite the absence of merit. I'll give you that much.
It's the absence of merit.
In a sense,
Okay,
yeah.
I have no idea.
So that's it. That's the absence of merit. That's my guess.
No, not exactly.
Of the answer.
I'll tell you the answer. You've tried very hard, but I'm very disappointed to tell you that you just couldn't. I mean, I can't do more. I've underlined it. I'm the one with the medication. I was thinking your brains are working. Okay, it's superficially or garishly attractive, but of no real value. You can describe someone or something as superficially or garishly attractive, but of no real value. Hence, value, merit. In that sense, it's somewhere there. Fake. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tarun Kaushik. But how do I know Tarun isn't Googling it properly? Or
You can't. There's no way to.
Bro, you got to say swear my mom. You got to say swear my mom.
Swear my mom. Fake.
Yeah, I want to swear
my fake mom.
My mom.
I did not look this up.
I remember boys in my class saying the sentence wrong, thinking they can get away with that. But still, nobody wants to take a chance of it, for their own mother. So be like, "Sir, mom, salam." That kind of stupidity. What do you think, guys? You can use this superficially or garishly attractive, but of no real value. Isn't that lots of people? I would think there's lots of people. Advertising is filled with them.
I can think of a bunch of people like that. MERETR.
Cyrus, someone sick trick has mentioned. It says, Cyrus, you miss the archaic meaning, which is related to or characteristic of a prostitute.
Yeah, well, in my small Oxford dictionary at home, which Maya has, this is what I got. Now, in my big Oxford dictionary, I may have got the archaic meaning. But
So
I'm glad that sick trick, I'm glad that they pointed this out to us because, we
wouldn't know. You don't want to miss the
and now you have empowered us with this word. So next time I go to meet a prostitute, I have this word, which is tomorrow afternoon.
Mereticious.
Scheduled. Yeah. Look at this audience we've got, Amit. What have you done? Who are these people?
they are the best.
Yeah. Fair.
They won't be on this. Okay, second one, fast.
Cool. Srinivas Kulkarni quickly says, tried Slay coffee for the first time and it's amazing. I had the cold coffee. Thank you, man, Srinivas. Really glad that we turned you on to it.
There you go. Wasn't he fantastic? I love that guy, Chaitanya.
Yeah.
He was great. Oh, man.
Somebody just mentioned this, told me that I must watch the episode. It was amazing.
He's the opposite of superficially garishly attractive but of no real value. He's the opposite. He's unassuming. You don't think anything, and then suddenly, he's a real substance guy. Absolute. Really good.
I will try.
So we've got two meanings here. Meretricious and Chaitanya. And two meanings, the antonyms. See what we got? We're learning. Sorry, what were you saying, Amit? Yeah, you haven't seen the episode?
No, I haven't seen the episode.
Once in a month, we have a decent episode and you missed it. And I was in a suit. I dressed up for the show. I was garishly attractive.
I saw that. I saw the links for it, and I saw our sales guys were, hey, I'm so glad that Cyrus wore a suit for our for Slay Coffee people. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah. I'm always 1 foot ahead of everyone. But the funny thing is, just for a second, and I may be wrong, Chaitanya, if you hear this, please don't get upset. But for a second, when he saw me in the suit, I think he got thrown for a second, thinking, am I supposed to be informals? Okay, because he's actually watched our show and he's never seen that. So for a second on his face, it was like, why is he, but he didn't say anything, of course, but he was a little caught. I thought it's a good gag to do on someone. Sir, suit nahi hai. We can't do this like this. Yeah. Glad we turned you on, Ruben David. Glad we turned you on. Did you?
I think you did say that. You said that to Srinivas.
Okay. Glad we turned you on to Slay Coffee, is what I said.
I finished the sentence now. You're sounding like the prostitute, the archaic meaning. What the hell?
I know. That's what I said, and out of context, it was. I'm glad you turned. They turned.
But we also talked together all the time, so it's possible that you said it and got swallowed by somebody else screaming on the top of their voice, namely me. Ready for the next one?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Because we've got a big topic to do, and I want to fill that topic in.
Yes.
It's it's an adjective again. Recondite. 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 Again, you can use it for me and
Sorry, say that again.
RECON. Recondite. DITE.
Is it someone who does recon? It's adjective, right?
Recondite. Unfound, right? Recondite, as in it is the when you're scouting for something in a military context and you can't find the thing that you think is supposed to be there.
Is this coming from reconnaissance? Is there some connection?
So something from there, yeah. I know, and I think it's real. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 65% sure that I'm like right-ish.
Your chance of being far rightish is better than being rightish. The way I see it, I mean, English is a funny language, so it's not impossible what you're saying. It's there in the universe of the point. But by and large,
Oh, okay. Something to do with reconditioning someone? Like someone who reconditions.
Or a reconditioned.
you guys are being too
recondite.
literal with everything. Everything is
that,
literal and
yeah.
phonetic for you. Everything, I mean, it can't be literal and phonetic. Sometimes it can be. I don't deny that. But this is
No,
not
no,
it.
How else would we guess it? The only way to guess it if it's phonetic, unless you know the meaning.
It's in your subconscious. Let it come out like how it probably came out. He's definitely got that ability to. It comes out from his subconscious sometimes, where the word just triggers off his memory. He's not 100% sure, but yeah.
It is something around that. It is something around unfound, like invisible, something that you know is supposed to be there, but you can't find it.
You're giving me very recondite answers, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So answers which are almost there, but not quite there. Is that what you're saying? No, answers which I can't find it.
Okay, the actual meaning is difficult to understand. Okay? Recondite is difficult to understand, adjective. So yeah, in a sense, it doesn't mean right or wrong. It's difficult to understand.
Okay, all right. That's
The word recondite is recondite. Basically.
Very good, Silverie. Very good. Best gag of the day.
I
Well
tried.
done. Well done. You're back. You're back on track.
I am.
You're back to be the next captain of white ball cricket India. Okay, so that's done. 22 minutes into the show, and we finished with this. Shall we get the topic in, or
Somebody's given the Hindi word for Cyrus.
what is that?
Okay. Yatin Salyan has given 2 Hindi words. One of them is Kuladhipati. Sorry,
It's
Kuladhipati.
salient, not Salyan.
And the second one
Kuli-
is
Kuli Dipti.
Yeah, I actually, just trying to watch you guys raw. But
Yeah, it'll take us an hour to read the second
and
one.
both of you to read this.
Tarvya
What is these words? This is not Hindi. This is probably Sanskrit or something, man.
I know the answers, but I'll test you guys to see whether you know them.
I got no
I
idea.
have literally no clue. I couldn't even make a guess.
And Miss Akash Singh has said something beautiful. And now if the words aren't there, how can I can't even remember them. So
I mean,
can't even
see,
take a guess.
the thing is, even Yatin had to really look for this word. Like, there's
Obviously,
no
he
way.
spent this whole. Yatin is such a goodness driven man. He spent the whole day finding these 2 words.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to kinky Atharva in the mood.
In the mood. Kinkartavya Vimud. Yeah, that could be it. Kinky Atharva in the mood. Wow. How did this person make it?
From today, we declare it is. Okay? So this is a new meaning. Print it. Okay. So Yatin, give us the answer. We have no hope in hell of us getting it right. And we want to get into our topic. If Yatin, he can do it later also, no problem. But we need the word with the answer, but we won't remember
Clueless.
the word. Yeah.
Oh, apparently.
Recondite, I can vaguely remember.
Someone is saying that Chintu Patela said that Kinkartavya Vimudha means clueless.
Oh.
Maybe?
Okay.
So,
Or he's saying he's clueless about it.
It's a word that's recondite also, in a sense. Yeah.
Wow, man, you
I
won't
don't know
believe
if
this.
that's correct.
I wouldn't bring this up normally, but Kaustav Banerjee has tried to give the meaning of these words. And he says it's indecisiveness. How would he know? How would you know, buddy?
Half Kachi friend who speaks Marathi as a second language is now giving us words in Hindi. My God. Puzzled, indecisiveness. So he was right then.
Okay,
Indecisiveness and puzzled is not that far
Yeah.
off. In Hindi, he's obviously gone online.
They all looked it up. Yeah, they all looked it up.
Bloody Kaustav Banerjee, that guy. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, this is a good. We can add this up, Amit. If anyone will send us a Hindi challenge word.
We should do a Hindi word every. We should do a Hindi word as a counter.
Our topics go out of the window. We already come to 25 minutes and we've not got that topic. And we've got our special guest, so we want to, in 5 minutes, go there. So shall we get him in and then do the topic?
Actually, yeah, let's get him in and then do the topic. Because the topic will take us some time. So let's just get
That's
him
what, no, the topic will take 3 minutes.
Exactly.
That
Okay.
makes
Let's do
sense. Yeah.
So let's take a flying break right now, a little earlier than normal, but that's because we have a heavy second half.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. From Jeff Bezos to Amitabh Bachchan, everyone has tasted failure, but they don't give up. On Probation Se Promotion Tak, Abhinav talks about failure and how to use it as a stepping stone towards your goals. On a show about crypto, Rohan and Jaspit Bindra, founder of the Tech Whisperer, debate whether blockchain could be considered socialist in nature. On The Longest Constitution, Priya Mirza sheds light on untouchability in the workplace with the help of Article 17. Witness the liberation of Bangladesh in the season finale of War and Warriors as narrated by Air Vice Marshal Arjun Subramaniam. And on Audiogun, Kedar is joined by writer Himali Kothari. They talk about Project 87. This project focuses on English language plays from India. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Go check out our YouTube channels. We go live on a whole bunch of different things. We have a number of different channels. You can find them on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week. Cred, Bank of Baroda, CoinSwitch Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you for making this possible.
And presenting, पेश करते हैं kinky kartavya, whatever the hell word is, the one and only. Let's get his name pronunciation right. Harvesp.
That's your T-shirt, dude.
Harvesp.
That's your T-shirt. Kinky
That's Kinky
Kartavya.
Kartavya.
That's your
Yes.
T-shirt.
Yes. First, let's get the pronunciation right. Harvesp. Offline, you were sort of telling us, and I want to make sure we don't make a mistake. So it is.
Harvesp. That's the right pronunciation, Cyrus.
I didn't guess. You trained me. You screamed at me offline before we started. You called me all kinds of names. You said it's recondite, my name, but try your best to understand. And so it's Harvesp. And then the Kasad is
Kasad.
Kasad. Okay.
Yeah.
And you saying it's a Parsi name?
Yes.
Parsi che?
Haj. Yes.
Parsi che?
Ha.
Did you ever ask Daddy nu naam su che?
Bahadur.
Bahadur. Mummy nu naam? Don't mind.
Nilufa.
Okay. Bahadur and Nilufer, very common names. Why the hell did they give you Harvesp?
Harvest.
I want to know.
I might have to ask them, but it's kind of a very unique name. So I mean, I
That it
kind
is.
of like.
That it is.
I've never seen a name like that, right?
Neither have I.
ESP ending.
No,
I
that's
can't think of
Tripura.
any.
It's especially. Harvest specially.
A lot of Parsi names end with the ending. The ending is common. But the problem is this name is not so common. But they're having
Really?
that P at the end. A lot of Parsi names are like that.
Like, for example? I'm
Vistas,
just-
for example. There's
Oh, sorry?
It's,
Cyrus. Something.
no,
The
it's just like Vistaspa or Pauruspa or so.
Okay.
That you'll hear. Generally, this generation doesn't keep it so much. So it's a little out of fashion. But you will hear growing up. But Harvespa, I have not heard. This is the first time. But it's fabulous.
Kasad? Have you heard the last name? Kasad?
But by the way, already the glowing compliments have started. Harvespa is a new version of LML Vespa scooter. Harvespa. This is what this Oxford Dictionary was supposed to help us grow and enlighten us. Look what it's doing.
Yes, BN. Extra sensitive for
Oh God. Might as well take it
Okay,
on the
great.
chin. Anyway, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're one of our regulars. Top
Yes.
3 or top 4 voices that we
Yeah.
hear or emails
Yeah.
and texts that we see all the time. So
Yeah, thank you to you guys.
it's your
actually.
Parsi. Amisha Pranoya Desriva, who's
Like literally every time Kashin or Harvest ask a question and then we have to read their name saying this question has come in from Harvest Kasad. It's always the next question on the chat is very often, okay, when are we getting them on, guys? Just get them on. Why are they not on yet?
I thought the
That
next
says two
question
things.
was, Antariksh, are they paying you off?
Are they paying? Yeah, that is also a question. Yes, that is.
but it tells you 2 things. One, it tells you how popular they are, and 2, it tells
Yeah.
you that the audience wants to hear them more than us. So that's something we need to worry about. We're creating monsters here.
One other thing it tells you is that Antariksh basically picks the quickest question that he knows that's going to work on the EMA
Yeah, that
instead of spending some time.
exactly, man.
Yes.
It's right here.
Man after my own heart. Yeah, why waste time? Wasting time is the worst crime of all. So Harvespa, quickly before we need to talk about our topic and then AMAs. But
Sure.
tell us a bit about yourself for a couple of minutes, like in a Miss India interview on stage. I'm Harvespa. I like long walks on the beach. I like grooming my dog. Whatever.
No, I'll just keep it short. I'm working as a team lead in a medical billing company in Ahmedabad, and I like watching sports and analyzing sports.
Okay.
That-
Not the most captivating answer I thought, Harvespa, but I'll live with it. Actually, we're not going on a date, so it's okay with me. The bro science accepts it. And may I ask, are you married?
No, I'm happy.
Oh, ouch. This comedy should come from a divorced man. But anyway, fair enough. Okay. And are you going to marry a Parsi or what's the deal there? If you want to get
Probably. I'm not sure. I mean,
but this show is all about hooking people up. That's what we really do. We pretend to do all this nonsense about language and
Geo Parse might not like my answer, so
you don't have to. You just say that you're keeping your options open for now. But why can't you have one Parsi wife and one non-Parsi wife? I mean, that's allowed in the present conditions.
Yeah, that would be too many. One too many.
Okay, then which one should we remove? Now you be careful of your answer. Hello. In the words of the famous Gujarati poet Kapi Nakse, be careful what you say on the air. Let's move on to we've got a topic
You got a great topic.
Harvesp, and also
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
always sends in his very erudite points from time to time with topics,
Yeah.
not just on
And huge cricket buff, Harvesp.
huge cricket buff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
sports
cricket
buff, you can say. Yeah.
we'll ask him a little bit about cricket if we have the time. But shall we swing into this? This is a path-breaking article that you found. Yeah.
So the Midday basically has done an article with the headline of the article being BMC's pro mask drive is just an extortion racket. Now we have kind of like we general public people, we've kind of known this, that it does seem like they are waiting to find you. They are waiting to catch you because maybe the laws aren't clear. You're not aware of what exactly your rights are. So they are just waiting to catch you and fine you for whatever reason they can, right? This Midday reporter basically got a job as a BMC marshal. Marshal are the people who catch these people who are the non-police officers, but some of us may have seen them.
We all live in the city. Everyone knows who the marshal is. Don't worry.
Sure. Okay, cool.
You're talking to us like we're 4-year-olds now. Huh?
These people's job is to basically catch these people and get the fines out of these people. They are non-cops, but okay. Now this person, this Midday reporter got a job as a marshal in the Santa Cruz
Area,
Thane,
whatever.
Santa Cruz outlet of the.
So he infiltrated the police, basically.
Basically, in
Right?
a way, right? So basically, he describes his entire experience, right? So he talks about the first day I went, I had to just meet my supervisor. Next day I had to meet the contractor. Next day I was on field, actually collecting fines or seeing fellow marshals collecting fines and learning how to do it and how they do it, etc., etc. Okay, so like he just reaches the place on the first day, and he is told that there is a 25 people he has to fine in one day. That's his target. Okay, a minimum of 40, like a maximum of 40 rupees is the cut he gets per fine that is charged. So if he's charging like 10 people, then he gets $400, etc., etc. How it goes
But isn't there a receipt system?
in front of him? Sorry, could you repeat that?
Isn't there
So
a
exactly,
receipt system?
So exactly, right? You would think that there is a receipt every single time they are making these fines. Apparently, most of the times they don't even give these receipts because the marshal gets to pocket more money if he doesn't give the receipt. So he gets to pocket more money. Part of this extortion racket is that, right? A lot of this extortion racket is. I'll give you an example. In front of this person on the first day, apparently, after saying, okay, theek hai, these are what your minimum requirements are per day. Now come tomorrow, I will let you meet the contractor, right? And in front of him, the cop gets up and goes to a car in which there are like a couple of people sitting who aren't wearing their masks properly. Apparently, so he finds them, whatever he finds them, the inspector, and he comes back towards his reporter, who he thinks is also a marshal. So the reporter asks him, sir, per private vehicle mein baithna, like if you're sitting in a private vehicle, you can be sitting without your mask and it's fine, right? And the inspector says, yeah, but a lot of people don't know that. So I could basically tell that these people wouldn't know that. So I find them, and that's how you collect money. So learn these things. This is what will teach you. These things will teach you to earn more money from your thing.
So one sec, what is the rule? If you're in a private vehicle, you don't have to wear a mask?
You don't have to wear a mask.
I thought it was if you're more than one person, you had to wear a mask.
And if you're in your own private vehicle, regardless of the number of people, you're not supposed to wear the mask, is what this article has said.
See, this is the biggest problem there, right? That there's, sorry, you finished, but I mean,
Yeah.
like this lack of clarity is why all this shit
Absolutely.
can flow.
And they want that unclarity. They wouldn't help you in any way.
But I've been telling you all not to follow all this rubbish from the beginning. Every time they ask you for this whole mask thing is it's a 1-2% game for which they've gone berserk. And on top of that, the kind of money that they're taking hand over fist is ridiculous. We have to put an end to it. Harvesp, let's start the hartal. Tomorrow morning you don't go to work until the money is returned to the poor customers. Sorry.
So then in this article they also talk about the different techniques and the different kind of people say they target, right? Like for instance, in one go they targeted they say like if you go to like buses and all, no? If you target like traveling buses, tourist buses especially, a lot of people inside just won't be wearing masks if they're traveling, right? So what these guys will do, they'll quickly enter the bus, act as if they're recording. Okay,
Yeah.
they enter the bus, act as if they record.
And even if it's down to your chin immediately, yeah, correct.
Exactly. So and immediately then like people. So this happened in front of one such case happened in front of this reporter. Okay. So he talks about so then like some senior citizens from the bus got mad. Okay, how can you just do this? And they probably said, okay, we know our right, but these guys will lie and nothing. So these guys will fight with everyone. and because you think they have some authority, people will more likely than not pay their fines. Another tactic they use is, say you're sitting in a car and you're not wearing a mask or not wearing it properly, right? They'll come up to you, okay, mask nahi pehna theek se. So then you whatever excuse you make, they'll be like, acha theek hai, normally it's 500 rupees, पर आपके लिए आज 300 रुपए कर रहा हूँ, दे और जाओ. People like, अरे कौन headache ले यार, I'll just give my 300 rupees and go. Okay, again, so this happened in front of this person also. Yeah, this is an old trick, but this happened in front of this reporter also. So again, he asked the fellow marshal, the co-marshal of his, saying, "Ke, why did you say it's 500 rupees in the first place?" He said, "I can tell looking at people that they won't know what the actual amount is. So if I say the actual amount and then reduce it, they are more likely to just give me the money and then just go their own way."
I've got a foolproof plan if they catch me in the car. I carry dog biscuits for dogs everywhere I go now. So I will offer them 4 biscuits in lieu of any fine. I think 4 biscuits is as far as I'm willing to go. I think more than that. And by the way, I saw a foreign couple being fined at Marine Drive at about 6 in the evening, 5 in the evening yesterday. And they had I think they had the mask on or just off the nose, not even like down to the chin. And she was trying to argue. We drove slowly enough so I could hear a little bit. But they just, I was thinking, why aren't they just going up to foreign tourists who are good for our economy and saying, please, mask pehno? If your idea is to, I mean, there's no need to do more than that. This whole attitude is wrong, firstly. Why do you need to try and extra $100? You're trying to help society go in the right direction. So just, urge people to do it with a smile. That would be the first thing.
Also, I think getting a cut from the fine you make is so ridiculous. To have a deadline in the first place, 10 पकड़ने आपको आज 10 लोगों को.
But look,
like, कुछ भी करके, you know.
Look at what they're stamping on. They're stamping on, it's beyond morality also. They're asking you to wear a mask for the benefit of humankind and humanity. That's the idea behind what we're doing. And then what they do on that is they actually they have the least respect for humankind. Because this whole process has got nothing to do with trying to make the world a better place, which is at least the belief in wearing the mask.
It's essentially profiteering, right? Like what you used to call war profiteering was considered to be the lowest of the low, right? So war crime.
Correct. Yeah.
Similarly, in this case, this pandemic profiteering, right? I mean, like, it's essentially disgusting.
And I mean, more of this pandemic profiteering is going to come out. It's not just a mask. For like, I know a guy who owns tempos. The kind of money they had to pay in 2020 for essential services to be to pass the net. Sometimes. So much for that. Sorry.
Now, where the biggest problem comes in over here, right, is just the essential lack of transparency around what the rules are. Today, okay, I'm no jokes. I want to find out, can I get some clarity on what are the rules for people traveling internationally and coming back into Maharashtra? Do you know how hard it is to find this? I mean, I'm not saying it's not there, but do you know how hard it is to find this? It took me like a good 10 minutes to figure out, okay, this is outdated. This has been superseded by this. This is no longer the case. This press report is not correct. It took me 10 minutes to figure this out, right? And I mean, like, I'm just like, this is not the way this shit should be, right? I mean, like, it should be clear and easily accessible information, but it's obscurity, right? I mean, like, and that kind of leads to this kind of thing, right? And to speak to what you were talking about, right, Antariksh, in terms of like the incentives, right? Yeah. Having this thing that it's because again, they've done this in like the old fashioned way. And this is where good rules kind of come and bite you in the ass, where everything has to be done by tender now, right? So the idea behind doing stuff by tender was, let's make it so that it's fair. Multiple people are bidding. But now by making it by tender, they write tenders in a way which only certain people can win. And then boom, 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 boom. You have this whole chain of like economic stuff.
Let's get Harvesp's comments on this, because Ahmedabad, we have no idea. How's it like there? I know Mumbai has become a bed of corruption here and there.
No, it's the same. Like if you talk about profiteering, I mean, we hear stories about profiteering in terms of, I mean, getting vaccines and all that, and people making money on that. So, I mean, there have been stories. And also, I mean, I agree with Amit that there is lack of clarity in terms of the rules. Like even I also thought that if you are alone in a private vehicle, you don't need to wear a mask. And if there are more than one people, probably you need to wear a mask. So like, it is absolutely lack.
But just look at the logic. If you're alone in the private vehicle, who are you infecting? You're alone in the private vehicle. I mean, it's just simple logic. I mean, what's the argument here? Okay, don't put your window down and put your head out in case of passerby. I mean, but it's just ridiculous. But Silverie, how does the story end? Did they? Does he have names of these cops?
So, firstly, it goes on to mention that this bus wala hall, no, that when they caught the tourist bus, that's like a mega hall. What's the word they use? That's like their jackpot basically for these marshals, because in one go they'll get like whatever 100 people or something. Correct. All of them will pay fines basically, right? So that's like a major get. Also, they leave out.
Why don't they jump into every bus that passes them?
That's true. They should. You're right. I don't know why they don't.
I think that's higher stakes Because people, as a collective, will fight and argue with them. So they
Yeah.
only do that when they're not getting enough money. Then they go for the higher stakes
Or
situation.
maybe they do it for like lower budget buses, not for high budget buses. Maybe
Or
that's
maybe
the
the other
They
way
just need
around.
to see.
Right?
maybe the other way
So
around. Okay, high budget bus.
human nature being what it is, they'll get enough people who are willing to
Yeah.
listen to them with middle
Yeah.
class morality
Yeah.
and say Hanji, and they'll urge the
Yeah.
others who are willing to question them and say, please, boss, humko kaam pe jane ka hai," and all that. So
No,
from experience, they know how to play this game.
also, price sensitivity in this stuff matters is a lot, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, you got to get the right market price. Fair
no,
enough.
it is right, because again, if you think about this, if this guy's going to waste 15 of my for me, if I'm coming to work, if my choice is pay this guy $200 or waste 15 minutes with him, I'm paying $200.
But that's the saddest part, so would I. Because at the end of the day, it's just not worth the fight. What are you going to
Yeah.
go waste 2 hours going to the police station, filing a complaint, using your influence, calling people? I mean, if I inherit 50 crores tomorrow, I'll do it. But while we have to work and get things done, unfortunately,
Yeah.
most people will think like us. Harvesp, su bole?
Yes, sir.
Su chale society
Yeah.
ma?
So,
What is going on?
so you're talking about the Hartal. So can we meet tomorrow at Azad Maidan or Fountain?
Let's see, but weather conditions have to be seen. If the sun is very strong, no. But Azad Maidan is fine. I'll sit in the Bombay gym in the cafe. And when you're ready for the Hartal, then I'll come out.
Yeah.
My spot will stand there. You say, Saab
Yeah.
andar hai, saab andar hai.
Yeah,
That
I
will
know.
be great fun, right? If you have like the Priyanka Chopra they're all joining, I mean, they'll have to have trailers and stuff, right? When you have these March for Unity, March for Humanity and all. I mean, they can't have them out. They can only come for the 2 minutes of the march where they're important and watched and seen. But I'm sorry, I was asking you, have they taken action against?
So
Yeah.
a couple of things we should mention also. The reporter, midday reporter's name is Shirish Waktania, who has done a great job. This is basically like very cool investigative reporting that we don't see much of anymore.
Let's get him on the show.
Shirish Waktania. Okay, yeah, we should actually try. Cool. Shirish Waktania. We should.
Anybody knows Shirish, please give us the number.
Yeah.
I mean, try through midday also. Because firstly,
So it's a very detailed article, okay, where he talks about, he breaks down, like I think he was there for 5 or 6 days, 5 days. He breaks down each of the days, like what he did on each day, how much he collected. Also, he
so
mentions
he
for the
didn't
most
go
part.
to the Goswami School of Journalism.
Yeah, he didn't have to just
Went
sit
to another
and shout.
school, obviously. Nearby, there was an old-fashioned one where
So he goes on to also mention that on the days that he was there, right, a couple of times there were people, not politicians, but people either
influential.
related to political parties or someone who works for a secretary of an MLA or something.
They had the sticker. There's a pass that you get.
Okay, but some people. So anyway, what this article mentions is that this person was still, the marshal caught this person who wasn't wearing the mask properly, but he happened to work for like a political party. So after saying, "Okay, I work for this party," just call them if you want to figure something out, go call them up. He never bothered and all.
Yeah, here's the problem. Out of the 4 main political parties, 3 of them are an alliance, and the 4th one owns the country. So what do you
Yeah.
do?
Kya
Whoever
karega,
the hell
yeah,
he is
what will you
in
do?
Mumbai is powerful now. It's a 4,
That's so true.
4.
Oh, man.
So one of the great things about the ceiling now requiring the toll on all of the basically the fast tag on
Is that they can't do any fudging.
they
Yeah.
can't do any fudging, but otherwise I remember almost every time I'd be on the ceiling, if you're behind a cop car, a government car, any car which has like a government sticker, they would go without paying the toll. Right, the guys would just pick it up and tell them to go. Now you can't really do that unless they want to go and stand in the 2 lanes which are taking money and the lines are much longer. Right, which nobody wants to do either. So it makes me so happy.
So what happens in America? If you're a police car, you pay tolls when
Yes,
you
you
cross
do.
the bridge and stuff.
Yes,
The
you do.
police, they have to pay like a normal person. They are not exempt of this kind of.
Because how is there might be, like, see, again, there is possible, I think I've heard of this in some cases, right, where you can do arrangements. Right. So, for example, the taxi union will do an arrangement with the city where the fast tags of the taxi union might have like a 20% discount or something like that.
Right.
Right. So that kind of stuff I've heard of. Right. But not. But you have to pay the toll.
Oh, by the way, the other day I saw a bike on the ceiling. Sorry, Harvesp. This is the Mumbai
I saw one.
conversation.
I
You go
saw
read
a bike
book
on
for
this.
5 minutes and we'll come back.
I'm used to Bombay. I've been in Bombay for 10 years. So.
Yeah, I just realized we're just going on about our little Bombay problems.
No, I used to stay in South Mumbai, so I'm aware about.
Oh, wow.
all the
Excellent.
Where? You also Malabar Hill? Everyone's in
No,
Malabar Hill.
no.
Oh,
No,
where is
I
that
used to stay in Gamadia colony.
Gamaria
Okay.
colony. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was in a
okay.
hostel. Yeah, it's a Parsi hostel. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, so
So
coming.
you were saying about you saw a bike on the ceiling.
Yeah, I saw a bike on the ceiling. When did I go to the Jaipur day? About 2 weeks back. And I couldn't understand what he was doing on the ceiling. And he was taking photos. He had parked and he was taking photos. It was early in the
so
morning,
it
like
was-
5.
He just got in from one end. They were stopping on the other end. No. Yeah.
He
basically.
stopped in the
No,
middle and he was
Yeah.
taking selfies like this. with
Yeah,
the sea in
because
the
there
background.
are no shortage of idiots. The other,
How did he get in? How did he get in? I mean, you still have to go through those fast tags.
if you come from the worldly side, you can get in.
Yeah,
So,
you'll be
and then
caught
he
at
just
the
drove
banner
back
side. Yeah,
the same way, obviously. No,
Well, I mean,
obviously,
like
there
you'll
was
have to figure out how to turn it around,
yeah.
right? Because they do. I don't think that you can turn
through
it
the one
around.
way. He can't turn it around through the one way.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
has
think
to
there's
go
any
through the
point.
thing to turn it around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I saw a guy on the sea link, and I mean, like, this pissed me off on so many levels, right? So, one is he cut me off twice, right? I'm like, how are you cutting me off twice? Once by mistake, okay, fine. Second time he cut me off. Then, when I finally passed him, I realized that he basically had his like baby daughter sitting on his lap, and he was making her drive the car. I'm like, dude, you're doing this shit on the sea link? Are you crazy?
And he wanted to show her
Oh.
that my daddy best.
Pretty
Why was he
much,
cutting
I
Yeah.
me?
guess. What else could it be?
But this is again, you said something which is a sore spot with me. I see a biker driving badly, and then I'm about to come close and give him a piece of my mind, and he's got a little kid in front of him, and
Yeah,
then you
I
can't,
know.
abuse them or anything. You suddenly you back off, and I feel really hypocritical about that. I'm like, well, just because there's a kid there, I should have abused more. But in the heat of the moment, you see a child and it diffuses you a little bit, and you back off. It's unfair.
But what else can you do? You can't, like, if there's a kid around, what are you supposed to do? You can't just like keep shouting and shit, right? You have
I'm a
to
big fan of urinating on people. I believe that's one way to show your angst. I really believe
basically
in
just
doing
like
it
a
that.
kid.
Well, I would ask him, beta ko niche dal do, side pe, zameen pe dal do, whatever. And I would then, what is that word, Hindi word? Kartavya, Vyankar myself onto.
I've forgotten the entire word.
Maybe that's the
What was
meaning,
it?
Silvery. Let's
Kinky
take a pause.
something, huh?
Kinky
Kartavya. Kartavya is
Kartav.
duty. Kinky is an
Yeah.
English word. There's no Hindi word kinky. I have no idea. Maybe Mr. Salian just made it up to make us look stupid, which we will do in the course of the show. I don't know why he bothers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm still asking you. So, will action be taken against the?
It
He's
hasn't
not
said
named.
anything. He just
He's
reported, and at the end, then there's a note. At the end of the article, there's a note saying the midday reporter didn't find anyone. Instead, he just requested people to wear their masks. Later, he went to the agency's office and met Sudhir Chaudhary, who was, I think, a supervisor. He then submitted the receipt book at 1 p.m.
Z anchor, isn't he? That's the name of the anchor of Z, right?
Agency's office, I met Sudhir. Yeah, Sudhir Chaudhary would be the yeah. He then submitted the receipt book at 1 p.m. and told him that he had to leave for some urgent work. The receipt book wasn't even used. Basically, he got a receipt book. They mentioned the serial number of the receipt book, but they got a receipt book which he didn't even use. He just told people to wear the masks
The
and
marshals
not
and
get fined.
senior superior officers and any cops that were involved, hasn't he got a list of those names? He has done a detailed sort of investigative
He has.
report.
There's a picture of a cop on the front of the article.
So shouldn't action be taken against these guys?
I'm sure it will be, but I mean, like, it hasn't yet. But what will happen? I mean, like, the same way that they stop people from eating, they stop
No, they
cops
have to
from
get
eating in
suspended.
restaurants.
They have to get suspended because we just discussed the word
It's
profiteering you both came up with. I mean, again, it's a big crime. It's not the same thing as when we cut the lane and a mandoli and $50 fine and he puts it in his pocket. That's a smaller crime. This is a crime where you're in the guise of helping humanity and
yeah,
trying to make sure that the world is safe. You're using that to profit you. Exactly what you said about you using the war or whatever else. So
yeah.
in these sort of stringent conditions to do that, the crime is heightened. I think it should be.
No, I don't disagree, but what will wind up happening is basically we will put a band-aid on like an arterial cut again, right? Essentially, something cosmetic will be done to solve to make it look like there is a.
But if what Silvery is saying is correct, these marshals are a proper menace then, because
But
you were looking at a percentile or percentage. How do you want to go, guys? You put your hands up on this. Okay, a percentage, a big majority, maybe. Is that fair to say? You think majority over
I would
50%?
say a big majority.
I would say because see again, Cyrus, think about how this whole thing is done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a tender floated by the government. That government tender says that okay, you must collect fines from this particular spot. That tender then is applied for by a bunch of different security companies who are going to hire these people to do it. The security companies are paying a certain amount of money, saying that you have these following quotas. If you hit these quotas, then at that point in time, we can then be able to what do you call it? If you are able to hit these quotas, then you will get certain amounts of money, right? So the whole thing has been set up as a line of incentives, which is geared towards the idea of, hey, let's just screw this up like
I mean,
this.
it's not a bank job. These sound like bank targets. Mr. Sharma, come in. You have to achieve this much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and also if every second sentence that you're using is like, "Arey, learn these tricks, it'll make you get more money from the people."
Also, the bindas way in which the senior you mentioned came and said, "Ki doesn't matter if they don't know, just go with it."
Yeah,
Just exploit
they
them.
don't know the laws.
I mean, there's just a
It's
lack of
crazy.
respect for people in general. And
Yep,
people have
basically.
suffered a lot in these 2 years. And
Yep.
especially the Aam Aadmi, literally the guy who's back on the bus, going back to work. Last thing he needs in a heavy day is a bloody mass fight for nothing. was so pointless and mean. It's really mean. As bakras go, it's a mean one, I would say. And it is that. You're making a bakra out of them. Yeah.
I don't think it's even a bakra, right? Because you're right. The meanness that is there in a bakra, this is not that. This is different level only, right? This is... I don't even know. It really
It's scamming. Yeah.
It's profiteering. It really is. I mean, like profiteering is a dirtier word than scamming is, right? And that's what this is.
Exactly. Scamming doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave it there because Harvesp wants to talk about other things.
Just the last thing on this topic, like I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, what would happen to this journalist now? Like he has come up with his story, so
I don't think anything will happen to him. I hope nothing will happen to him. I think the thing is that he's talking about corruption, which is not really as dangerous to talk about in some ways as some of the, and this is petty corruption, right? If he starts getting into like, gangster shit and stuff like that, then that can be different. If he starts getting into religious stuff, then he's going to get in trouble. This, I think it should mostly be okay with him.
Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress will attack him and BJP will protect him. It'll get politicized. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And the tennis match continues.
Did you see what happened to Munawar? Sorry, quickly. Just do you think what happened to Munawar? Like he was able to perform his first show, but it was with Congress MLA in the audience, basically saying, okay, we support you, go ahead. So now I think that's what it's come down to. He'll have to have someone from the opposing party in like the audience every single show.
Congress jokes because they want to look good that they are supporting.
Yeah, you don't know exactly.
Or do you do BJP jokes because the Congress guy is there that'll make him happy because he's supporting you?
Great question. I do not know that. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, it doesn't mean you can never make Congress jokes again. And actually, you can make all the Congress jokes you want because at this point they have to support you. They can't go like, "Arey, how can you say this about Congress?" Because then
that's what I meant.
They are.
But you're, what are you, dude? You're talking about a degree of sensibility which I don't think agrees that is there here, right?
Sure.
You need to be aware of hypocrisy to be able to kind of make those kinds of stands.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
but you guys are missing the point. We've reached a point in comedy where you need to have a bodyguard from a political party to perform. You figure that out. I mean, you can't just perform. You don't need material. First, you go to comedy school, they'll be like, bodyguard kaun hai? Influence, tera baap kaun hai? Those are the questions they'll be asking you. Then jokes sunao. Jokes sunao comes much later. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, we've been having a nice, fun conversation and not to bring things down, right? But I mean, like, if you think about the lynching thing and the way that governments are reacting to it, right? And various people are reacting to this lynching that happened at the Golden Temple. I mean, it's clear what's what over there, right? People pick their teams and they go with their teams, and it's not about like it's not about principle in any way, right? Because if it was about principle, we would be just as outraged, or I am, but I think most people would be just as outraged about this kind of a lynching as they are about the other ones.
But in India, if there's a religious hue to it, then justification happens very quickly.
Yeah.
So you see, where you and me, Amit, unfortunately have very clinical minds. So we can separate the emotions from whatever. But in this country, anything which has a touch of religion, the whole thing changes on the spot.
Yeah.
It suddenly has wings and it's different from another crime. So that's why I'm saying no religion 5 years. No religion 5 years, no rickshaws 10 years. These two things and India will be better. Harvesp,
yes.
Perfect?
Yeah, perfect. Whatever you say.
Just to get rid of the podcast, to end it fast. But shall we get some AMAs?
Yes, absolutely.
AMAs will be fun.
Yep.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
This
Can I go for the first question here? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first question. So apparently there are some YouTube videos in which Antariksh is acting and auditioning. Why have I never seen these videos?
Because it's super embarrassing, man. So I'll tell you what these are, okay? Basically, if you search for my name and say, I don't know, acting or whatever, or maybe just search for my name on YouTube, you'll get like these audition videos that I've done. These are for like you go to Aram Nagar, you go to Four Bungalows and also audition places.
I was in Aram Nagar Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Make me feel bad.
Exactly.
30 years in the business, I've only reached
Yeah,
Aram
you're
Nagar.
still going to the same places. So you go to these places and when you're like new, right, they have to basically add you to that database in a way to be able to send your videos for future work, for reference or whatever they need it for, right? So these are like self-prepared monologues that I have done and I'm terrible in them. Yeah, it's horrible, but it's really funny to go back and look at them. They're like from 4 years back or something.
Horrible is fun. The only bad stuff is stuff which is neither horrible and neither fantastic.
Okay, this is horrible. This is very bad. And just go have a good laugh.
Let's see just how horrible.
Did you find it?
Yes. Sir.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday to Harvesp.
It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so funny.
Oh no, wait! I'm muted right now.
Okay.
Hold on, 1 second.
Oh God, I forgot where the monologue is from. Also. Okay, this is from yeah. Also, people were asking for me without a beard. This is me without a beard, guys.
Yeah,
This
really.
is एक तीर से दो निशान.
Can't recognize you.
कोई शिकायत नहीं है. अब पुलिस की नौकरी की है तो इतना तो हो गई. बस एक अजीब सा एहसास है मन.
Man, let's not. This is terrible.
Did you have to
That is
memorize
the
the
worst
lines?
thing ever.
Was that why you're taking the slow delivery, or this was just?
No, it was like on purpose slow delivery. I knew the lines because I'd done that monologue like endless times and all.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He was trying to be Javed Akhtar.
yeah, I was trying to be like pensive and gambhir and all that.
What was the audition for? But exactly.
This was it must have been for some ad or something. So basically, like when you go for like an
So
audition.
why would they make you do a monologue?
No, so I'll tell you. You go for an audition, and at least this was happening when I was giving the auditions. Is
2015.
you would need to have always a prepared monologue at least, okay? Because say you go to the audition place and you don't fit the character they're looking for, right? They will like, अच्छा अपना intro दे दो और अपना monologue दे दो. कभी कुछ requirement होगा तो आ जाएंगे आपके पास. Basically, is what they would say.
So you're like in a prostitute file, literally.
Basically,
Just dumping
yeah.
Everybody else.
Like
I need to be on that file.
yeah. Every couple of
Next
months,
time
I'll still get a
you go to
message and all
Arab Nagar, let me come
eventually.
with you.
Yeah.
But I
that's
must say, I like
yeah.
the non-beard. This is academy level shit. You
No,
must
no,
say.
man.
You've blown people away with that.
Prepubescent Ranbir Kapoor.
Ranbir, I guess. But I mean, wow! Look at it. It's hitting us
Wow.
thick and fast. People are super impressed. And then one girl who likes you, I hope she comes back. Where's that girl? I wanted his number.
That's so funny.
When he was slim. Were you slim?
I mean, I was pretty much the same. So basically, I was fat then, and then I lost some weight, and then in the pandemic, I gained everything back. So now, basically, I would say I'm the same I was then.
As the audition.
It seemed like, as the audition, literally back there.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
Harvesp, have you got an audition?
No.
No audition tape? Would you like to do one right now?
Antariksh, that was so funny that somebody actually commented from Facebook.
This was hilarious.
We never get Facebook comments. We never get Facebook comments, but this time we got a Facebook comment.
This is great. We need to play one Antariksh audition every day for some time.
Hey, there'll be like 4-5. We can get 4-5 out of this. Yes.
Wow,
For sure.
that's fantastic. Why do we need a guest then, Silverie? You just tell us about your days in Arab Days in Panjari, days in Arab days in Hawaii. I got the entire prequel is ready for you. Okay, shall we take 2-3 more quickly?
Just for everybody who is listening, we'll put a link to this YouTube video
Yeah,
in the show
sure.
notes so that you can enjoy
Yeah.
what we enjoyed.
And he looks a bit like Q, Quasar Padamsi in that. If anybody else knows Quasar, just take a look at how the face is. If you can match Q, Quasar Padamsi's face later on in a video, you look a lot like him when he was younger. Yeah, I'm not lying. Which
Cool.
makes you Dolly's son and Alex.
Okay, got it. Yes, correct. All right. Tarun Kaushik has asked, guys, did you see the news where North Korea banned laughing for 10 days, among other things like alcohol, celebrating, shopping, etc., to mark the 10th anniversary of Kim Jong II's death?
I think it's very appropriate. We should do it here as well. Maybe do like 30 days, a whole month. We anyway have one dry day, so they're copying us. I'm all for this. This is
How
what
do you
makes me
ensure that? You just, if you hear rumors, do you like shoot up a place? Do you
the
arrest
same
people?
marshals that we use here go to North Korea. They do excellent
that's
work.
true. No,
They
I
catch you
saw.
laughing.
I think I saw your teeth. I think I saw your teeth. Yeah. Hey,
I
we
heard
found
a giggle.
bucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
also,
if the
I-
North Koreans, God forbid, see the video of you auditioning, then what? Are you
Man,
gonna spill out of there?
they can't see that video. They'll start laughing.
That's
It's
what I'm
terrible.
saying. Yeah.
I would also say one other problem they would have is him calling him Kim Jong the Second.
Okay, it's ills. Oh,
It's
ill.
ill.
Oh,
It's
sorry,
ill.
I'm my
It's
bad.
ill.
What did you say
It
second?
looks like the second. I mean,
He
can
put
you put that
Royal-
comment again so I don't look like an idiot?
Windsor-
Rishi,
Windsor family.
can you please put that comment again? Okay,
Did you
wait,
say
I found
second?
it. Yeah, it's
I didn't
ill.
even hear
It's
you.
Kim Jong the second. I know it is supposed to be ill, but you're here in this comment. I thought Tarun was wrong. I was just humoring Tarun, guys.
There's Prince Harry, Prince William, and Kim Jong the second.
Yeah.
3 of them.
All right.
Okay, got it.
Got it.
Yeah. These guys are terrible now. They pick on everything. We don't hear what we're saying, but they pick on everything. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The pettiness, the smallness of the mind. I appreciate it. Next one.
Okay, this one comes from Vinay Nair. He has a great recommendation. He says, has any of the panel members heard the podcast Real Dictators? tells stories of many dictatorial regimes. Very engaging. Since Cyrus is a history buff, he may like it. Just a recommendation.
Isn't there something similar on Netflix?
There is How to Be a Tyrant.
How to be a dictator.
How to
be a
Yeah,
tyrant.
I enjoyed
correct.
that. That was really fun.
Yeah.
I have not heard this podcast. I shall. I like history podcasts.
So this includes all the dictators of South America, Western Africa, Eastern Africa, not so much Eastern Africa, also parts of the Middle East, etc. Places which don't get the kind of focus because the three big ones, Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, got in the last 100 years. But I mean, just look at the havoc in Rwanda or Bosnia Herzegovina.
I think Mao's got some popularity in that space too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
that famine,
chairman.
that fabulous famine that he orchestrated.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
But
yeah, true. But that's Mao the first.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, Chairman Mao the first.
Not Mao ill. Oh, okay. Eri or Ri asks, AMA for Cyrus, why do you think we Indians have a problem standing in queue or waiting for turn while deboarding a plane? Do you think this is what we are taught growing up, always encouraged to push ahead?
For me, there are 2-3 issues here. One is the proximity issue. We don't know how to stand in the queue with a little space. Okay, that's the first problem. You're always touching the next person. You're always standing on their toes. And the moment you see, it's why we're good at cricket. We come down the pitch to hit the spinner. We're just immediately onto the next person's heels. Immediately. That's one of the big problems. And the second is there's a sense of desperation. We discussed this actually before. There seems to be desperation in our DNA. That if you don't catch the bus is gone. So you have to catch the bus. Westerner never had that majburi feeling growing up. So he doesn't understand the need to rush. The next bus will come. Or people will attend orderly and come up or enter the bus orderly and in a civil, decent way. So that's a huge difference, cultural difference. What can we do? I say bring the British back for 5 years and maybe this time focus more on the etiquette. And not the other things. Oh, and they can build a few buildings again. I really miss their buildings.
Hey, did I tell you I went for this amazing Bombay tour from a company called Khaki Tours? They took us all around the whole South Bombay area in a jeep and showed us all this stuff, and it was amazing. Things that you had absolutely no idea that these kinds of things were out there, right? Like the State Bank of India, half and half, half Edwardian, half Victorian. Just like you look at all these old buildings in Fountain, and some of them have ships on them, some of them have trains on them. Just really, really cool stuff. I had no idea that there was this much there.
Oh,
and everything built by the British and the Parsis. What else did the rest do?
Pretty much.
The rest did nothing.
We spent I think a good 10 minutes discussing the history of Parsi opium traders.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point.
No, it was legal.
Let's not get to that. Yeah, let's not get to that part of it. And my point is that they built the city. And yet nothing is given to Parsis. Parsis, for example, should be allowed to park anywhere. I think if you're a Parsi, you have a Parsi sticker.
Sorry, Harvesp.
We should be allowed.
That's the
special privilege.
That's the
No
sorry
mask.
state, I mean.
No mask, I'm Parsi. No mask. Finish straight away. Walk away. Park the car in the middle of the road. I will say, either. Parsi. Finish. Matters closed.
And also coming back to the Kim Jong-un story.
Somebody's dancing with his wife. We can cut and dance with his wife. Why? Parsi. She's now my wife. It's like that. I like this. This thinking is great. Yeah. Guys, it's 7:04.
Sorry, Harvesp was saying something. We just cut him off.
That coming back to that Kim Jong-un story. I mean, they even during this 10-day morning, they have even banned birthday, but nobody can celebrate the birthdays and all that. So, as Cyrus always says, I mean, it makes India look better,
That's true. That's true, Amit. If you want, the theory of relativity is something about that. If you want to stop abusing your country, you go to North Korea for 3 days, and then you come back and you touch the soil and Bharat Mata ki Jai, and you become a bhakt immediately. That will cure a lot of us. I can imagine Munawar Faruqi being said there. We'll teach him. Make jokes of. You see, open with Kim Jong II, and let's see what happens there. Yeah. What a strange man that guy is, anyway.
Actually, Munawar might be safest in North Korea because he can make all the BJP jokes he wants, all the Congress jokes he wants. What are they going to do? Why will they get mad there?
Oh, you never know. He might have an alliance with somebody somewhere. Okay. I'm not saying that. All right. Okay, guys. Harvesp.
Yes, sir.
Can I go? Jamwa chalo.
Jamwa chalo ji.
Yeah. There's no G here. Just boring relatives, but whatever. It's great having you on the show. And great to hear your voice, and hope to hear more from you in the next 20 years.
Sure, and thanks to you guys for inviting me.
And if you guys want to see more of the auditions, Amit is going to, it's going to be like Arabian Nights. We're going to lure you back on by promising you every week one audition of the highest class.
Yes, absolutely.
Silverie, you might
Right.
get hired. You never know.
I highly doubt it, man.
Hey, how much
This
do
will
we
ruin
need
my
to-
chances of ever getting hired, I think.
So
500
no,
bucks to come on the show. that's
no,
not a
no,
bad
no
idea.
payment required.
Imagine.
Just basically send Antariksh messages on his Twitter, on his Instagram, wherever you can.
And naked photos of yourself as a teenager.
Will be much appreciated by
And
him.
this is
yes.
only men, please. Yeah, so we don't get into trouble later. Okay. Bye, ladies and gentlemen. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Cyrus. Bye, guys.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Do you wonder why China does the things that it does? Or want to know how we could improve online privacy? Or perhaps you're thinking about how we can kickstart India's economy? If you'd like to search for the answers to such questions, check out All Things Policy, a daily public policy podcast that covers everything from employment figures to aircraft carriers. Tune in from Monday to Friday for new episodes and fresh takes.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.